the hell? Dutchman versus Lost in Space.
Hi, Lost in Space is a 2018 Netflix original series not starring Gary Oldman and Matt LeBlanc, unfortunately. It stars Molly Parker, who I personally know from Deadwood, but most of you may know from House of Cards, Toby Stephens, the bad guy from Die Another Day, and Parker Posey, who I only really know because her name is an alliteration and it makes her kind of sound like a comic book character. Lost in Space is obviously based on the 1965 television series, and I must freely admit I'm not that well known with it. It's one of those main staples in science fiction that everybody knows of, even though they may not per se have seen themselves. It has some kind of cultural significance behind it. It's basically on the level of the original Star Trek series, which I'm fairly sure not everybody has seen. I've known that they were working on this series for quite some time now, not with any bombastic or fanfare, because I've barely seen any advertisements or, buzz going around it. It wasn't until this series actually hit Netflix itself that I was like, oh right, this came out. It's not as if on the level of something like the Marvel Netflix series or the newest episodes of House of Cards or Orange is the New Black. It just kind of happened. And that's this series as a whole, really. It just kind of happens. It's not easy to get through. It's a 10-episode series, but it's like 10-hour-long episodes. They are long and they take their time. They bring us to a proper alien planet that we slowly get to discover what the atmosphere is like the literal atmosphere. And yeah, it's alright, it's quite fun. See, the main difference between the original sci-fi series and this one is that the original was just Swiss Family Robinson in space. This is why they are called Robinson. And here they're more like part of a colonization mission. There's several other cast members and ships as well, and they all land on the planet. It didn't, I kind of dislike that. It's not a huge grievance, but I kind of wanted to see a family dynamic having to weather difficult circumstances. But luckily it's not like Under the Dome or like focusing on a small village of people. The main stars of this series are just literally the family Robinson. Is still very much so the focus of the story. I was afraid that by adding all these other characters they would lose focus about the family Robinson. We still get quite some impressive child acting, and I know everybody always goes like child actors are the worst, don't work with children or animals, but here I think Netflix has been, alongside Stranger Things, been doing a cracking job with getting child actors who, gave decent performances that didn't make me feel as if they were grating or annoying. I'm not good with names, and I did 5 takes you didn't see about me flubbing up Parker Posey and Molly Parker's names because they both have the word Parker in it. And I just looked up Taylor Russell. She plays Judy Robinson, who is the Robinson that has the romantic interest with the hotshot guy played by Matt LeBlanc in the movie, but not here. And I lost his name as well, and I'm not going to look it up. We're gonna do it live. Especially her, she was great. And Maxwell Jenkins, who gets to play Will Robinson, who we all know from the giant robot, Danger Will Robinson, Danger, Danger Will Robinson. And except in this iteration, he's a lot more alien. He's not that sci-fi cliche. Now, I understand when the 65 series came along, the cliches weren't that cliche yet because it was the first time they ever did them. But here, the new robot is not even called Robbie, he's just called the robot. And we haven't discovered what its purpose is yet. It's still a mystery left to be solved for the upcoming season, because there's gonna be a second season. There's gonna be a second season. So what is this series exactly, you could ask me? Well, if you have the time, it's 10 hours of extremely visually engaging, beautifully shot, stuff of CGI that I'm surprised that they managed to do on television, even though it's Netflix, but you know, disregarding that. And it's great, it's adventures, it's alien beasts, it's robots, it's spaceships, it's space. But you have to have the time. That's my biggest problem with it. You can't just look at an episode, you have to stay with the series. And even though not all characters are as engaging as others, Parker Posey as Dr. Smith is a nice villain in a way. She's an antagonist, but she's not evil villain. They could have done it so differently, so hackneyed, so to the hilt, but instead they've given us a villain we haven't figured out yet. We don't know her motivations, and we don't know why she's in the series. And you know, I'm probably sure that's all going to build up to the second series. And Will Robinson and the robot growing in a relationship, it's basically the backbone of the series, and Smith's weird obsession with both it and him, or them. They give it they say it's a he robot, but I checked, there's no junk. So do I recommend this? Yes, but it's like, it's not something you can sit down easily for. So I'd give this a 7 out of 10 if I did numerical ratings, but I don't believe in numerical ratings. So let me know in the comments down below how hideous I look, how fat I am, and that I should shave, because this chin strap thing might just not really be my cup of tea. It might not be my bag. Follow me on all the social medias except Facebook, because Facebook destroyed the very fabric of our reality. Give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, it's all good, I don't care. And you know, you could subscribe, but then that would mean YouTube might actually tell you when I upload things, and that's not good. I'll make myself sad. Right, I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.